I was a fool. My boyfriend Ryan was only fooling me for my money. I was his ATM. I gifted him expensive shoes, let him drive my Porsche, paid for our travel expenses. I bought him clothes, bought expensive bags for his sister and mother, and even premium liquor for his father. I couldn't believe it. During his birthday party, his real girlfriend, Sarah, appeared. She looked all pretty in her pink dress. The whole room was touched, saying it was so romantic. The hall was filled with Ryan's family and friends. I was left in the corner, like an uninvited guest. Like I didn't belong. I was so confused at first. Then I realized, I was so stupid. Everything fell apart. The betrayal, the pain. I felt so wronged. While the couple danced like they were in some fairy tale, everyone watched and cheered. I couldn't stand there anymore. I left the hall. I went directly to the hotel lobby and asked for the manager. He arrived a few minutes later. Sorry for the wait, Ms. Leah. I spoke coldly, my face still pale, my eyes still wet with tears. Stop the party in lobby 1. Evict everyone. The manager looked confused. I said, I paid for it. It no longer serves me. Close it now, I demanded. The manager had no choice. He brought some security with him and went to the hall where Ryan was having his birthday party. They stopped the music and asked everyone to leave. Leave now. The party is over. Everyone stood frozen. They didn't understand. It was only 8 p.m. The venue was reserved until midnight. They hadn't even finished their meals yet. Ryan and his parents went to talk to the manager. What are you doing? There are still 4 hours left, but you're already asking us to leave? Ryan's mother, Sophia, said. I will complain, she added. The manager just looked at her and replied, Ms. Leah gave the order. Now, please leave. They froze when they heard that. They looked around. I was nowhere in sight. People stared at them, confusion written on their faces. Ryan then approached the manager. You can refund Leah. I'll pay, so we can continue as planned. The manager didn't say anything. Please, this is embarrassing. Please, Ryan begged. The manager radioed the reception. The receptionist called me and handed me the phone. I answered calmly. Yes, manager? He explained what Ryan had said. I simply replied, okay. My name is Leah Gray. I am the only daughter of Mr. Joseph Gray, one of the top 50 millionaires in the country. My father's face regularly appears on Forbes and Business News. Everyone knows him and everyone wants to be close to him. I've always been fair. I don't treat people differently just because they aren't rich. I value people for their character and skills. With Ryan, it was his looks. He seemed kind, ambitious, and hardworking. I thought maybe it'll work. But all along, I had no idea he was only after my money. As the manager made his way to Ryan's party, I had already cut his supplementary card and revoked all access to any of my accounts linked to his name. I could only imagine their faces when he suddenly couldn't pay for the venue. I knew Ryan and his family finances combined wouldn't be able to afford it. I booked the most expensive package for him. And this is the gratitude I get? They forgot I paid for everything. Even their dresses. Even Ryan's coat and tie. Let's see how they deal with it now. Meanwhile, Ryan's face turned pale, his card wasn't working. He and his family started to panic. Wait, I'll go find Leah, Ryan said, turning to the manager. He kept looking, but I was no longer in the hall. Of course they couldn't afford it. A few minutes later, as I was heading home, I caught a glimpse of the chaos. The manager was dragging everyone out of the venue. People were mumbling, whispering to each other. What a scene. I just laughed. As my car passed by, I told my driver to slow down when we reached Ryan, Sarah, and his family. I rolled down the window, looked at them, and stared straight at Ryan. Then I smirked, openly, not even trying to hide it. I saw his face turn red. With anger. If he were close enough, I swear he would have tried to strangle me. I could see the embarrassment on all their faces. When I got home, I called my secretary, Sue. I told her, Ryan is no longer my boyfriend. Cut off all dealings with him, his family, and his friends. Retrieve everything I gave them. And make sure he stays far away from me. 3 days passed. In those days, I felt liberated. Sue handled everything perfectly. But Ryan still managed to find me at my favorite cafe. He knew my schedule. You bitch. Do you know how much humiliation you caused me and my family? He shouted across the room. My bodyguard instantly stepped in, blocking him from getting any closer. That's exactly what I was hoping for, I retorted, calm and unbothered. He glared at me, furious. My secretary got to work right away. Everything under my name was forcefully returned. The rented house where he and his family lived. Sue contacted the real estate agent and terminated the lease. They were given 1 week to pack up and leave. And now here he was, having the audacity to be angry at me. I casually took a sip of my coffee and moved to a private room. I never looked back at him again. When my father heard what had happened, through my secretary, he decided to give me an island in the south. A small, 50-hectare private tropical island. White sand beach on the south side, facing the sea. High cliff mountains covering the rest. He told me to go ahead and design it however I liked. So, I turned it into a resort-style retreat, added a swimming pool, a golf course, a tennis court, and a lush garden view. I made sure it was fully self-sufficient. After a year, the private island, now named Leah Paradise, was finally completed. I arrived aboard my personal yacht. I was quite pleased with it. The island is designed like a resort, complete with all the necessary amenities. It runs on hydropower generated by a small waterfall, with solar panels as backup in case of maintenance. The west side of the island is dedicated to fruit and vegetable farming, providing me with fresh produce. The east side holds livestock for eggs and fresh meat, ensuring full sustainability. The house is a 2-story building with 10 rooms, enough to accommodate 10 guests and 4 staff. It has a kitchen, dining area, living room, game room, spa room, and a wine cellar. The windows are made from high-grade, impact-resistant materials that can withstand strong winds, even bullets can't break them. The doors are just as sturdy. Safety was the top priority, but nothing was compromised on beauty and design. The entire island is guarded by 10 armed security personnel, ensuring my safety and the island's. I enjoyed staying there, lazily watching movies and pampering myself. I didn't know that after 2 months, my secretary would hand me the phone. "Hi, Dad, what's up?" I said casually over the phone. "Leah, no matter what you hear, don't leave the island," his voice sounded panicked. "I'll be there by tomorrow. I've already instructed security to be on high alert. Wait for me." Then he hung up. I looked puzzled. My father doesn't usually panic. What could be happening? I thought. Sue was browsing her tablet when her face suddenly turned pale, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. She showed me the video. The footage showed chaotic scenes. Shouts and screams echoed in the background. There were car horns blaring, people screaming and pleading for help. Some were shouting, "Run for your lives." I was shocked. The scenes were bloody. Dead bodies were lying everywhere. Then, it showed disfigured people, limping, wearing bloodied clothes, chasing others. They lunged and bit into them. I felt nauseous. I looked at Sue and whispered, "Zombies." I called the head of security and showed him the video. I told him to prepare and follow my father's instructions. I needed the security team to see the real situation and understand what they might face, otherwise, they might freeze and fail to act quickly. I also had Sue organize and prepare for my father's arrival. I predicted he would come by helicopter. And soon, he did. I went out to meet him. He got out and walked straight toward me, then silently led me back to the house. My father gave the order, "No one is allowed on the island." Protective measures were put in place. Security was on high alert and given clear instructions on how to deal with zombies and with people who might try to sneak in. We prepared the yacht. It was stocked with food, water, fuel, and weapons, ready to be used as an escape. The helicopter was hidden away in a warehouse, also stocked with food, water, and fuel. 2 soldiers were assigned to guard it. The security room had monitors showing live CCTV footage from all around the island. Sue was assigned to stay by my side. After a month, there were still no zombies or people stumbling onto the island. But we didn't let our guard down. We ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner from the farm and livestock. I started to feel at ease. Sometimes, I even watched movies with Father and Sue. Life was easy, until 4 months later. The head of security suddenly spoke over the radio. He told my father that a small boat was approaching the island. It was only visible through binoculars and seemed to carry 4 people. They were headed straight for us. We just watched as they got closer, until we could finally see their faces. My heart sank. I recognized them. It was Ryan, his sister, his mother, and his father. They all looked thin and rugged, but I knew it was them. "Dad, I know them," I said, turning to my father. "That's my ex-boyfriend Ryan, the one Sue told you about. They're bad news. Please, don't let them in. They're opportunists, not good people. We don't want that kind of trouble here." My father looked at them silently for a moment, then signaled the head of security to drive them away. He turned back to me and said, "Don't worry, Leah. They'll never hurt you again." Security boarded a speedboat and forced Ryan's boat away. Armed with rifles, the guards stood firm. Ryan could only curse as they sailed off. But that night, thinking no one was patrolling, they rowed back toward the shore. Security spotted them and surrounded the boat. They were persistent. One of the guards fired a shot into the air. The family froze. Eventually, they were forced to leave again. The incident was reported to us during breakfast. I shook my head and looked at my father. I don't think that's the last we'll see of them, Dad. We should prepare. They'll come back. My father nodded in agreement. Later, while I was reading a book and munching on potato chips, I saw security rushing toward the beach. I sensed something urgent and ran to the security room. On the monitors, I saw 2 speedboats and 3 smaller boats rapidly approaching the island. Goosebumps covered my arms. Fear showed clearly on my face. Then I felt my father behind me. He put his arms around me and whispered not to be afraid. He looked calm, so did the head of security. On screen, I could see the people on those boats were armed. Our security team was already in position, lying on their stomachs with rifles aimed, ready to fire. Next to them was a mounted Gatling gun, its ammunition lined up and ready. Then the signal was given. The Gatling gun unleashed a barrage of bullets. I saw the attackers panic. Some tried to hide, others jumped into the sea. But the gun was too powerful. One speedboat burst into flames. I saw someone leap into the water, his body on fire. After 5 minutes, the hostile boats were gone, sunk into the ocean. I felt a huge wave of relief. If we hadn't succeeded, they would have killed us all. I went to my room, exhausted just from watching the intense scene. 2 hours later, the security team boarded a speedboat and cautiously went out to inspect, making sure no one had survived. We stayed more alert than ever. Who knows how many others knew about the island now? Those bandits were vicious, crafty little demons. We had to be very, very careful. The next morning, I couldn't sit still. Pacing by the window, I kept glancing toward the ocean like I was expecting something, another boat, another threat. My chest felt tight. I just know Ryan told them where we are, I muttered, mostly to myself. That idiot, he led them right to us. I swear, I could smack him. I sat down, but the unease stayed with me, crawling under my skin. I couldn't shake it off. My father noticed. He put down his coffee and looked at me with calm eyes. Don't worry, Leah, he said. We have everything under control. I turned to him. Do we, though? They found us once. What's stopping them from trying again? He gave a small nod, like he expected the question. Security traced their origin, he said. We found signs of where those bandits came from. My eyes widened. And? I've already ordered a drone strike, he said, his voice steady. We'll get close to their base, send drones to drop grenades on their facilities, especially where they're storing weapons and ammo. I blinked. Seriously? Yes. It's the only way to make sure they don't try that stunt again. It sounded harsh, but deep down, I knew he was right. They'll keep coming, I said quietly. Exactly, he replied. That's why we strike first. 2 days later, the drone strike happened. I wasn't allowed to see it live, but they let me watch the recorded footage in the security room. The screen showed a dusty patch of land surrounded by trees, makeshift huts, scattered supplies, and metal containers probably holding weapons. A few men walked around, some holding rifles, completely unaware of what was coming. Then, the drones came. Small, silent shadows in the sky. The first grenade dropped right into a shack. It exploded instantly, wood and fire everywhere. People screamed and scattered. Then another drone hit their storage unit. The blast was massive. Ammunition inside went off like fireworks, one after another. I flinched even though I wasn't there. It was chaos. Panic. The camera shook a little as smoke filled the screen. I watched it all quietly, sitting beside Sue. Even she looked pale. When it was over, the base was just black smoke and broken pieces. Fires still burning in places. They won't be attacking again anytime soon, the head of security said as he walked in. My father nodded beside him, arms crossed. Good. Let them know we don't play games. I felt conflicted. Part of me was glad. Safer. Protected. But another part of me felt cold, knowing what we'd done. It had to be done, but still, I couldn't pretend it didn't affect me. That night, I sat by the balcony, watching the stars. The sea was quiet again. Sue brought me a blanket and sat beside me without a word. I'm not sure if we're the good guys anymore, I whispered. She sighed. I don't think there's good or bad now. Just survivors. I nodded slowly, holding my knees to my chest. Still, I hope Ryan saw that explosion, I muttered. Sue snorted. If he's smart, he'll never come back. But something deep inside me knew. He would. A few days passed after the drone strike. The island was quiet again, but not in a good way. It felt strange, too quiet, like something was waiting to happen. I tried to go back to normal. I read books, helped Sue feed the chickens, and sat with my father watching the sunset. But something felt wrong. I kept looking over my shoulder. Then one morning, while I was watering the garden, I saw something near the trees by the cliffs. Just a quick flash, like sunlight hitting glass. My heart jumped. Was someone watching us? I slowly backed away and walked to the guard post. I didn't run. I didn't want whoever it was to know I saw them. The guards checked the area, but found nothing. Just a broken branch and a few leaves moved around. I didn't tell my father right away. I didn't want him to think I was being paranoid. But later that night, during dinner, I spoke up. I think someone's watching us, I said quietly. My father looked at me. When? This morning, near the cliffs. I saw something shiny, maybe binoculars. Sue looked worried. Do you think it's Ryan? I do, I said. He's not dumb. He won't attack yet. He's watching, planning. My father stood up and used the radio. Double the guards. Change the night shifts every few hours. Keep the drones in the air. After that, I couldn't sleep. Every little sound outside made me jump. The wind, the trees, a creak in the wall. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, thinking one thing. What is Ryan planning? The next night, I couldn't take it anymore. I walked straight to the security room. The guards stood up when they saw me. We're not waiting for him to strike, I said. We're going to catch him. They looked surprised, but no one questioned me. Set traps near the cliffs. Motion sensors, hidden cameras, spikes if you have to. If he steps foot here again, I want to know. The guards nodded and got to work. I watched them on the monitor as they moved through the trees, setting up wires, digging shallow pits, covering them with leaves. That night, I actually slept better. 3 days later, we caught them. The cameras showed Ryan and his family sneaking through the woods at dawn. His mother was limping. His father carried a bag. Ryan had a machete in hand. His sister looked scared. One of them tripped the sensor. The alarm buzzed in the security room. I was already awake. By the time I got outside, the guards had them surrounded near the garden. Guns aimed. No way out. Ryan looked at me with wide eyes. Leah, please, just let us stay. We won't cause trouble. We'll work. Anything. I stepped closer. Cold. Tired of the games. You brought bandits here, I said flatly. You tried to invade. You watched us from the cliffs like a coward. You are not welcome. His mother started to cry. His little sister clung to her leg. But I didn't care anymore. Get them off this island, I told the head of security. Now, the guards forced them onto a small boat and gave them a little water and food. Just enough to survive, no more. Ryan looked back at me one last time. His face was full of hate. I didn't blink. Don't ever come back, I said. They sailed off in silence. Just 4 figures fading into the sea. I stood on the dock, watching them disappear. Sue came beside me. Do you feel better now? I didn't answer right away. Yes, I said. I feel safe. But I can relax. As long as Ryan is alive. He will definitely come back. A week passed. No signs of Ryan. No boats. No movement on the sea. Everything felt quiet again. Then one night, my father came to my room. He sat on the edge of my bed, serious. The patrol team found pieces of that boat, he said. Ryan's boat. It was broken apart, probably by big waves. I sat up straight. So, they're gone? He nodded slowly. The ocean took them. No bodies. But the waves out there were strong. They wouldn't have survived. I stared at the wall for a long time. I didn't speak. Inside, I felt something I didn't expect, relief. Not joy, not revenge, just quiet, like a heavy door had finally shut. A few days later, I let myself relax. The sun was warm, the sea was calm. I lay on a beach bed under an umbrella, listening to the waves. Sue was nearby, reading a book. I started to drift off, eyes half closed. Then I heard fast footsteps on the sand. Before I could react, a shadow fell over me. Ryan, soaking wet, shirt ripped, eyes wild, a machete in his hand. You, he shouted. I barely had time to sit up before he lunged. His face was full of rage and pain. You killed them, he screamed. My family. It, all your fault. Because of you. I scrambled backward, heart pounding, legs numb. He raised the machete. You ungrateful witch. We loved you. We trusted you. And you threw us away. I couldn't even scream. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then, bang, a gunshot. Ryan's body jerked sideways. The machete flew from his hand. He fell onto the sand, groaning in pain. The head of security rushed over, rifle smoking. 2 more guards followed behind. Ryan clutched his side, bleeding. He looked up at me one last time. I will kill you in my next life, he hissed. Then he stopped moving. I stood there shaking, staring at the blood soaking into the sand. Sue ran to me, held my arms, pulled me away. Leah, are you okay? I nodded slowly, but inside, I was shaking. He survived the sea, and he still tried to kill me. Ryan would only blame me, not himself for his unfortunate fate. After that day, I felt different. Not scared, not angry, just calm. Ryan was gone. I didn't have to look over my shoulder anymore. I could finally breathe. That night, I sat with my father. We drank tea and looked at the stars. The air was cool. The island was quiet. I felt safe. Everyone on the island started to relax. The guards still worked, but they smiled more. Sue helped me in the garden. We planted flowers and fruit trees. My father fixed up the old lighthouse. He liked having something to do. We watched movies again, ate fresh food, went swimming sometimes. No more fear. Days passed slowly, peacefully, then weeks, then months. 1 full year went by. No boats, no trouble, just us. On the same day a year later, we made a small fire on the beach. We didn't talk much, just sat together, warm, alive. My father looked at me and said, "You've become strong." I held his hand and smiled. "I had to be," I said. A few days later, we heard a strange broadcast. I was in the security room when the head of security turned to me, looking surprised. "We've got something," he said, turning up the radio. I walked over and listened. A voice came through, excited and urgent. "We've heard the news about the vaccine," the voice said. "It's been created. The zombie virus will be gone soon. Power's back on. Water's running. You can go back to the cities." They didn't say which island they were from or ask to meet. They just sounded happy, hopeful. I looked at my father, who had walked in as well. "What do you think?" I asked. He didn't answer right away, just listened to the voice. "We can't trust this without checking," he said finally. "We need confirmation." He turned to the head of security. "Send a team to check it out. Find out if this is real." The security team got ready to leave. I wasn't sure what to think. It all sounded too good to be true. What if it's a trap? I asked. What if they're leading us into danger? "We'll find out," my father said. "We'll stay ready." 2 days later, the team returned. I rushed to meet them, my heart racing. "We found them," the team leader said. "The power's back. The water's running. The vaccine is real. People are recovering." My father looked relieved but still cautious. "Did they ask to meet us?" "No," the leader replied. "They just wanted to let us know things were getting better." My father nodded. "Good, but we stay careful. We don't know who they really are." I couldn't believe it. The vaccine, was it really true? My father turned to me. "It's a good sign, but we stay alert. We don't know what's next." I nodded. For the first time in a while, I felt a small spark of hope. We stayed on the island a little longer. It was quiet and safe. But more good news came every week. The vaccine worked. The zombie virus was gone. Cities had power and water again. People were starting over. One day, my father said, "It's time to go back and help." He took some guards and went to the city. When he returned, he told me, "Our house is still there. A little damaged, but nothing serious. We can fix it." Then he smiled. "You can come home now, Leah." I went back with him. The city looked different, old and broken in places, but people were fixing it. Cleaning the streets, opening shops, trying to live again. My father didn't just fix our house. He helped others too. He gave food and water to survivors. He helped rebuild schools and hospitals. He hired people who lost everything. He worked hard every day. One night, he sat beside me and said, "I'm happy we survived, Leah. That we're still here." I looked around at the lights in the windows, the sounds of laughter, the smell of food cooking again. I never saw zombies up close. I never fought them, but I lived through all of it. The fear, the waiting, the pain, and now, I was here. Alive, safe. I survived, and so did my father. The end.